the Moondrop Crinacle Dusk, overall build quality, it is quite good. Like, this shell is beautiful. I love how see-through it is. I like being able to see everything. Nozzle, it's big, but it's not too big. I find it comfortable. Didn't have any issues with fit myself. Just gorgeous, though. Like, this really is a beautiful IEM. The 3.5 cable, better than I was expecting. The ear hooks, comfortable, flexible. Didn't have any issues there. It wears nice. Slider, 3.5. It's not the best cable I've ever used. It's not the worst cable I've ever used. It's okay. And like, as you can see, it does have some memory. It doesn't nicely curl up when I do the thing. But it's fine. It's functional and it wears fine and it doesn't tangle. It's a completely functional, alright cable. The DSP cable, it is better. It is quite a bit better. Ear hooks are comfortable. Beautiful, beautiful. Got controls and a microphone. You are now listening to the microphone on the Moondrop Crinacle Dusk. How does it sound? Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous, nicely built cable. And USB-C. So, yeah. No memory on this one, as you can see. Nicely wraps up. Beautiful cable. Beautiful. And it sounds beautiful. We'll talk about the sound. Yeah, so build, great. No problems here. Came with a nice case. Really nice case, actually. I quite dig this. Little pocket here for your dongle. Nice. Came with spring tips. Came with an airplane adapter. Oh man, that's value. Airplane adapter? Oh, just kidding. Yeah, it came with an okay accessory package. Nice unboxing experience. I got an unboxing shorts video up. Go take a look at that. Yeah, it's good. It's good. No problems there. Sound wise, we're going to talk about this analog first, and then we'll talk about a DSP. Analog, to kind of put it neatly in one sentence, it's essentially a nice tuned IEM with good subjective qualities. Yeah, the bass is clean. It is a very clean bass. Doesn't extend too far out for anyone, especially me. And then the mids are nice. No problems, no issues whatsoever with the mids. They are well done. Very clean mids. You got that upper mid rise. It is starting slightly earlier analog than it does DSP, but it's not too much. There's not too much of anything going on with this IEM. It is a very well-tuned IEM. And so that upper mid rise, it's not too much. The treble, it extends out nicely, and it is a very good quality treble. The bass quality on this is good, and the treble, I would go so far as to say, is excellent. The quality of sound is very good with this IEM. I was actually impressed. DSP, the DSP is amazing. I didn't find myself losing any of the quality of the sound. The bass was still very good, enjoyable, quality bass. The treble was excellent still. What it did was fix that upper mid rise just a bit more, and it just falls more into my preference range. And yeah, with the DSP cable, this thing sounds nuts. Like, it sounds really good. Really good. Yeah. Good IEM. Around that $400, under $400, I think it's a good buy because subjective qualities, I think that they sound like the price range to me personally. I wouldn't have a problem buying this for around that, given the subjective sound. And then with the ability to DSP and fix these little issues, I think it's even better. Like, this is really good with the DSP. So, we're going to compare it to some other IEMs I have laying out here on the table. We got the Truthier Red, which is a very similarly tuned IEM. We have the CKL-VX, which is just a favorite of mine. I think it's a great IEM. It's under $200, which is awesome. And we have the Meteor, which is a $600, I think, IEM. That is my favorite IEM of all time. So, let's compare. The CKL-VX and the Dusk. they have some similarities. When you look at like analog, when you look at them, they got some similarities in that upper mid range, the treble extension. The CKLVX has more bass, which I personally enjoy, and there's some differences. Okay, so the Dusk has a more refined sounding treble. It is smoother. It is a very nice treble. The Dusk has a really nice treble, and that is, I feel like that's what you're paying for with this IEM. The quality of bass and the treble quality is quite good. So the Dusk is significantly more expensive than the CKLVX by quite a bit. So keep that in mind. Analog, I prefer the tuning of the CKLVX. I like the bass. I find that having that little bit of extra bass in the analog tuning does help cover up that early upper mid rise. And so analog wise, going back and forth, yes, the subjective qualities of the Dusk is like, it's better. They're better. The tuning, I prefer the CKLVX, and I can listen to the CKLVX just a little longer because of that bass. Even if the subjective qualities on the Dusk are better, and I do recognize that the Dusk is the better IEM. Analog, I do like that bass. So that being said, throw a DSP cable onto the Dusk, and next thing you know, I prefer the Dusk, which is interesting. That's interesting. That means that taking care of that upper mid rise is actually more important to my listening preferences than the bass. Anybody who knows me is kind of like, wait, what? Bass is not as important to you as upper? Yeah. So the upper mid rise, once you take care of that with the DSP, the Dusk sounds nuts. It is really freaking good. Like I can't stress that enough. Like it is insanely good with the DSP. And I prefer the Dusk over the CKLVX with the DSP. It makes a huge difference. I can't even believe how much of a difference just that little change in that upper mid rise makes to my listening experience. Yeah, so essentially analog, it's kind of a tie. I prefer the tuning of the CKLVX, but I prefer the subjective qualities of the Dusk. But when you throw the DSP on, the Dusk inches it out in every way. You can throw this cable, like the DSP cable, I put it on the CKLVX. That was a good time. I had a good time doing that too. But yeah, that aside, that's kind of where I'm at when comparing those two. And there's a huge price difference here. And when I'm really kind of grasping at that price difference, like what's the difference there? I think it's just you're paying for that refinement in the treble that you're getting with the Dusk. It is more refined. It is smoother in the treble. It is noticeable. And the bass quality I think is a little better with the Dusk as well. So that is what you're paying for. But that's not to say that the CKLVX is not an incredible IEM. So essentially, analog wise, these two are kind of tied for third place on my IEM ranking chart. They're basically tied for second and third because DSP, the Dusk wins. With DSP, the Dusk is my second favorite IEM. Period. I just said that about the CKLVX. I was like, oh, the CKLVX is now my second favorite IEM. I like it so much. It's so good, and the value. Yeah, the Dusk just beat it with the DSP cable. With the DSP cable. With the analog cable, it's my third favorite IEM. And that's where I'm kind of conflicted there. To compare it to my Meteor really quick. The Meteor is better in every way, and it's not even a competition. There's a huge price difference, though. So, the Meteor, it takes care of that upper mid rise analog, which is great, which is awesome. And it has a really good quality of bass and a good quantity of bass analog. I don't need DSP on the Meteor whatsoever. I don't need to do anything to it, and it sounds amazing. And that's why it basically wins. Analog, it's just everything I want in an IEM. Subjective experience, I do find that these two are, they have some similarities, but some differences. I like them both enough to listen to them both. Like, it's at that kind of point where it's like, they're different. They just sound so different, even though Yeah, we'll talk about DSP in a second, but I do enjoy them both quite a bit, and they have different subjective qualities to kind of share with me. So the Meteor's bass, it's both thick and clean. It's hard to explain. The separation is nuts on the Meteor, and it's kind of like a thick bass. The Blessing, or the Dusk, sorry, it's not a Blessing, it's a Dusk. I'm sorry if I say Blessing in this review. The Dusk has a bass quality that is very, you have to have a good seal. I had to go through a couple different tips to get a good seal. Once I got the SS tips to seal with this Dusk, the bass quality is rather good. Very punchy, very good, and it's very clean. Like, it's not that like thick bass. It's a clean bass. So I don't know. I can see more people actually liking the Dusk over the Meteor because of like just general preferences, but the Meteor is my preferred sound. With the DSP cable, however, the DSP cable Dusk, it kind of matches the Meteor a little bit more, that upper mid rise, and now all of a sudden what I got is a different type of sound that I still really enjoy. Like, I'm able to listen to the Dusk with the DSP cable and go, yeah, like I'm listening to my music in a completely different way from the Meteor, but like still getting that same relaxed upper mid rise and that same kind of sparkle in the treble and bass quality. It's very good. The Dusk with the DSP cable is very good. I still prefer the Meteor, but it's much more expensive, and this with the DSP cable is, I think a lot of people will prefer that because not everybody's like a bass head like me. Yeah, very good with the DSP cable. Bass Plus, the other EQ DSP settings on the cable didn't freaking interest me. The Bass Plus, though, however, it did interest me. And with the Bass Plus, it has more bass than the Meteor. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's just crazy. I still prefer the Meteor, even with the Bass Plus having that extra quantity of bass. But it's a good time. This is a really good time. This with the Bass Plus is a freaking awesome time. So yeah, essentially that. Also, I should really just quickly say, with this, you can throw an impedance adapter on this analog as well, and it does boost the bass. So just throwing that out there. Do you want to listen to this analog, but you still want a bass boost? Just throw an impedance adapter on the Dusk, and you got a bass boost. Now, to quickly compare it to the Red, because the Red is so similar in tuning. When you look at a graph, it's just like, whoa, those look very close. Very close. They sound wildly different. Just worlds apart. The Dusk, it's better in every way. I don't know. It should be. It better be. You're paying way more money. The Dusk better be better than the Truthier Red. But yeah, it's better in every way. The treble quality on the Dusk is nuts, and it's kind of a cool experience because they're so close in so many ways on the graph. Just be able to hear that huge, huge difference. It's wild. It's so cool. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say in regards to like comparing the two, is that tuning wise, like you look on a graph, you're like, huh, they're the same IEM. What are you doing? When you listen to them, it's just night and day. It's night and day. Like, they're not the same. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. So I guess, oh yeah, really quick. This DSP cable, it's not going to work on iPhone for you. Like, to change the settings, you can listen to it on the iPhone. Like, I have an iPhone 11 Pro. I have to use a USB adapter to listen to it, but you can't change any settings. If you want to change settings, you need to use an Android, which I luckily have an Android as well. You got to plug it in, change the settings. The settings will save. You unplug it, and then you plug it in your iPhone, and then you have the settings. It's a wildly annoying, but you just got to do it. The app is kind of sketchy and sus as well. Not gonna lie. I downloaded the Moondrop app on my iPhone, and it almost crashed my iPhone. I had to delete it right away. On my Android, it works just fine. So I didn't have any problems with the Android app actually, so no complaints there. But with the iPhone app, just don't even try. It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. Yeah, so just wanted to mention that really quick, that if you want to use the DSP cable and you want to mess with the settings of it, you have to use an Android. It does come with a stock DSP setting, and it will work on an iPhone. It will work on anything stock as is. But if you want to change anything, you need an Android. So just mentioning that. Anything else I missed? There's a lot to talk about with this IEM. It goes deep. There's a lot. Came with spring tips, awesome. Came with a nice tip case, awesome. Like everything about it so far good. So do I recommend the Dusk? I mean, I talked pretty positively about it. Like kind of looking at this, it is like it kind of fits perfectly where it is actually. Like the price range is, I think it's priced right, because I don't think the subjective experience is as good as my Meteor, but I do think the subjective experience is better than the CKLVX. And that's taking tuning out of the account. Like if I'm taking tuning out, if I were to EQ these all to the exact same whatever kind of thing and just listen, I do think that the Dusk has a better subjective experience than the CKLVX, and I do think that I think the Meteor is better than the Dusk. So I think pricing wise, it's actually priced fairly. I think that it's the best DSP IEM out there. Moondrop fixed their DSP issues. There's no noise floor. There's no weird distortion or anything I'm hearing. It's a solid sounding IEM with versatility because of the DSP cable. The only thing is you need an Android to do anything with that cable other than listen to the stock DSP setting. The stock DSP setting on this sounds amazing though. So as an analog IEM, if you just want to listen to this thing analog, it's good. It's good. I think the treble quality is good. I think it's priced right. I think the subjective experience, even analog, it's probably priced right. But if you want to listen to a DSP, it's something special. There's not many IEMs out there that can do what this does with DSP, you know? And that's kind of where I'm at, is that yes, I recommend this IEM because of that. And I'm conflicted with it because it's like, oh yeah, analog. But yeah, with the DSP cable, this is excellent. And I do think a lot of people would like it. A lot of people. If you're not, like, if you're anti-DSP, screw DSP, whatever, I don't EQ. If that's you, yeah, it's just another well-tuned IEM with good subjective experience. But if you're someone if you're open-minded to the DSP cable and you're wanting to try that out and just see what, Crinacle's, I feel like the Dusk with the DSP cable, I feel like that was Crinacle's vision. That was what he actually wanted out of that IEM, right? That's the tuning he actually wanted. And when you look at the Dusk with a DSP cable that way, and like that's Crinacle's vision, and that was the sound he was going for, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's a really good IEM when you look at it that way, and I actually like the thing. So overall, do I recommend it? Yes. I think it's good. I think it's worth its price. I think it's a good IEM, and I think it fits perfectly where it is in the market. It's a great thing. It's a great little IEM. So yeah. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time,